Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 24th day of March 2024. Today is Sunday afternoon, and there is a breaking news that the Nigerian government has declared 90 persons wanted. Now, from the northeastern Nigeria, about 50 of them, they were declared wanted for terrorism. Then in the middle belt and the southeast, they were declared wanted for crimes and for secession crimes. They call it crimes, while the other 50, they call it terrorism. Now, these people, if they are being apprehended, they are going to be charged with either treason or serious crime. Now, so many people have been saying that Nigeria will never win the war of insurgents through court or through military powers. And one of the man that is making this news to trend is Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is a member of the indigenous people of Biafra. He is the president of Biafrans in exile, the prime minister, to say. He lives in Finland. Now, Nigeria government wanted the Finland government to repatriate him to Nigeria, to extradite him. But the Finland government said that no. So the Finland government refused to do that Nigerian government asked them to do. So today now the defense headquarters have released his name among other 89 persons that these people have been declared wanted. Now the situation and the talk of the day, so many people have been advising the Nigerian government what to do so that they will have peace with different regions and different people, saying that the insurgents or secession fight can never be won by military or by court process. Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, he was detained, but they thought that when Nnamdi Kanu is being detained, everything about secession will end. But when Nnamdi Kanu was detained, it seems like the fire is more burning. So, here with me is the author of Afro-democracy, Gael Clavis Johnson. You are welcome to this broadcast. What advice do you have for the federal government of Nigeria? Because everyone knows that they are not going to win this fight by military power or by court orders and so on and so forth.
It is quite disturbing in my mind to hear what you just introduced right now concerning this brother who's in Finland and being listed as wanted simply because he's speaking on behalf of his true nationality. I can say his true country of origin. This is what we discussed yesterday. So it's kind of a coincidence what's happening and what we discussed about yesterday. So the advice to the Nigerian government, Mr. Okocha, this is tricky to be honest, because if you have to take the government, the Nigerian government as such, it is not for the people. So giving them any advice, it's like talking to a government that is black, by referring to the members, but internally it is not black as such. You see, it is foreign to Nigerians. I will not be surprised if what the government Nigerians has engaged itself doing, like wanting people, enlisting them for crimes that are not really acceptable, because they're just trying to express themselves in terms of right and land rights and something like that. So talking about the Nigerian government as such, Mr. Kosh, I don't know. There's no government that is Nigerian government. There's no such. We are invaded. The Nigerian government, as black people as such, they wouldn't do that to their fellow black people. It's easy for them to understand the position of those people, but why are they acting stubborn? Why are they using their power in a way to push others who are citizens like them of this so-called country as Nigeria? What's the point of pushing them if it's not a foreign force behind those black brothers so that we'll hate each other? The advice will be tricky, to be honest, but we'll see how it will go through as we're discussing this matter. Honestly, Mr. Obasha.
All right. You see, the main issue here is that these people have not been arrested, but they have been declared wanted, meaning that anywhere they are being caught, especially in Nigeria, they will be arrested.
Now, I believe that if the law must be applied on a citizen of a certain African country, the first one to be prosecuted should be the President of the Republic. He's the most dangerous. Is more criminal than any other citizen, as they make us believe.
And what is your stand?
So
what
if
is
it's
your
just
stand?
in the DNA of those black brothers in the government, in the Nigerian government, they won't do that. But because, as we spoke yesterday, that Nigeria is a dream, of which the dreamer is in the worst. So they are feeling threatened. They know that if they don't do anything about that, the fall will be so painful. So they have to push further, that even if you're trying to do something overseas, outside of your country, away from the continent, we can still put our hands on you. So sooner the issue of that brother will be, the United Kingdom trying to convince Finland, and just to see the developments. But I believe for them to release them as wanted people, it's already the neo-colonists behind that.
Okay.
The neo-colonists are already behind that.
Okay, now I want us to discuss the issue of referendum, because what is causing this problem now is referendum, because these people want a referendum. The IPOB said they want a referendum, and I think in every part of the world, anyone who wants a referendum is not a crime. Referendum is like when you want to go and cast your vote. It is a civil practice. It's not a criminal practice. So referendum is what these people have been urging for. But I see that there is no way that Nigerian government will stand up and said, okay, no problem, everyone should come, let us have a referendum. It's not going to happen.
No.
So how are we going to do this? Or all these people agitating for self-determination, what are they going to do? Since let me say the road to having a referendum has been blocked, what should they do?
As we spoke yesterday, Mr. Okocha, the fastest way to this, I'm sorry to say that, but so be it in all African countries where we can still see the presence of the colonists who claim to have left our countries and declared us falsely as independent, but we still see their presence there through the presidency. I keep saying the presidency is the strength of the neo-colonist West. Now, yesterday I spoke about a line saying like we try to change the sequence of a dream, of which we are not
the dreamer.
That's it. So when we try to go on a referendum, if it's not benefiting the West that is particularly involved in that country, then we are trying to change the sequence of the dreamer right there, and we'll face the consequences. And to make it shorter, I said the fastest way that is left to us is through coup. I'm saying that again.
All right.
When we try to be law-abiding citizens, trying to do things normally, they put all the obstacles on our way. So what else can we do? That's why those soldiers come up with coup. Somewhere, as long they're not killing, the president has been ousted. As long they're not, there are no loss of lives. I don't see that how bad it could be to go through coup, because
all right, talking about military coup,
it's a message right there, because through referendums, our brothers will suffer the most, and we will end up being scared even to speak out about what is rightfully ours.
All right, you know that military coup is also treasonable in a democratic government, in a so-called democratic government.
We don't have democracy, so I don't blame them. Let them not mislead us. We don't have democracy, so whether they do the organized coup in our countries, they shouldn't blame them as military going against democracy. We don't have democracies in our countries, so they should just leave those brothers alone.
All right,
let them do what is right. A coup, and then take us back to the so-called democracy.
All right,
because it does not exist in Africa.
Okay. Okay, this is a serious problem, Mr. Johnson. The government of Niger wants the United States of America out of their country. When the military coup happened in Niger, first of all, they let France go. In fact, France went out of Niger by force. It was by force. It was remaining the United States military base in Agadez. Now, the junta want the United States to leave. And the United States is trying to play stubborn why they shouldn't leave. And the purpose why the military base is there is because of the exploitation. The military base was there to protect foreigners who are there exploiting the natural resources of Niger. Because you just made mention that the Nigerian government are inside the government, that the main people that are behind them are the foreigners, the colonists, that they won't allow referendum to happen in Nigeria. So when the Niger coup happened, we saw how the West try all possible means to make sure they use someone like Bola Tinubu to cut the light to Niger, though the light has been restored, to block the border between Nigeria and Niger. You mean blocking the borders of brothers and sisters? Because people from Kano, Katsina, and Niger
behind such, you know.
You understand? So the issue now is, how can these people survive this? Since this military, foreign powers are behind the Nigerian government. They want Nigerian government to remain as we are. Over 60 years, we had independence, nothing is working, and the foreign powers want to be seeing Africans like this, so that since they know that Africans have problems, they can summon, one president can summon the whole African leader to their country.
Because they can misuse those ones. African presidents, they are not presidents. They are not.
So I am just thinking it loud, because we need an urgent intervention in Africa. But to be honest with you, I don't know how. Why I said I don't know how? Referendum, they will block it. If you call for secession, they will block it. They will charge you for treason. You know how powerful these people are. But I know the people have more power than them. But how will the people go about this?
Well, you were talking about Niger. You were talking about the U.S. Military order to leave, and you came to Nigeria. So I'm a bit confused. I didn't get what. So if I have to put them together, what you said, I'll start with Niger.
All right.
There is a reason why I keep saying in Afro-democracy, the new African order, that I am not in support of the presidency, because the presidency is against the people. The leadership of one, in a multi-cultural country like Africa, it's a huge problem. When you stand up as a leader, even though you're doing the right thing, there will always be someone from a far tribe who will take you as someone who's not doing anything at all, especially for them. But even though you are trying, so that's the danger right there, and that's where I spoke about the country system, where you put your life in danger, that even your own shadow as the president of the republic is scary to you. You see, so we don't want those brothers to die. We don't want them to face anything that will take their lives away. We need them in Africa. We need them. But the only way they can stand is to close the presidency and establish the kind of leadership whereby even the West will be like, who's actually leading Niger? Well, Niger is being led by people, but it is in a form of regionalism, whereby there's a group of leaders coming together on equal ground. So they don't know who to summon actually, but they don't even know who to make their target, like to take him down or something like that. It's a group of leaders. It's a council. So if they want to change the leadership in that country, which means they have to kill the entire country. So how will they start that? Themselves, they'll back down, because in that way, each and every ethnic group or tribal society being served, having a voice, they will stand together, and fight against the common enemy who will try to come and trouble them in their country. But when it is only a person like General Chani right now in Niger, believe me, whatsoever is doing, there is a tribe somewhere who's already against him from the first day he took over, whether we like it or not. Regardless of how the people of Niger are celebrating right now, there is a tribe or there's an ethnicity. Perhaps they are not speaking out yet, but they're already there against him. The same thing in Mali, the same thing in Burkina Faso. We like it or not. That is the country system. That was the thinking of the neo-colonists when they were creating our countries. So there's always something, there's always a group within the country that is ready to turn things around and make it in favor of the West again, whether we like it or not, as long we still entertain the presidency. So it's up to us now to think about the political system that will make the West weak. I said that yesterday. We have to weaken the West in Africa, so that in this context whereby the US military must get out, There'll be no one as him, the leader of Nigeria, to be summoned or to become a target whatsoever. There'll be no such. You understand? So it is easy, provided that they follow what I'm saying in the context of Afro-democracy. That is a lifetime work, Mr. Okosha. I don't want to speak much about it. I don't want to brag about it, but it came from far away, to be honest. I won't say which spiritual dimension did I reach to write that book. I know myself. I'm an African. I'm from the deep root of Africa. There'll be perhaps a time we talk about myself, but I don't want to talk about it yet. There's Google asking for my biography. I don't want to talk about it. They even put it on Google. Like, whoever knows Gael Clavis Johnson, we need his biography. It's there on Google. I can see that, but I'm not giving them my biography yet because, you know, I don't want to be discovered yet at that level. But Afro-democracy is the book that is coming from, oh my, the deep root of Africa. That's it. It is a voice that not anyone can hear. So it's up to us to grab that book. You know, it's now in the European Parliament. So if it's something of less value, what will we be doing there in the European Parliament?
Because it caught the attention.
Yeah, as African leaders, you know, if Europeans can put it in their parliament right now, so why not us? Why not us? So they shouldn't just take it because I'm discussing with Mr. Okocha that we are just trying to waste time here. We are talking about what will bring about change in Africa. That's why I call it the new African order. It's not a joke. So Niger
so your advice,
the political system.
The advice
that we've been facing so far. And,
your advice
in the context of Nigeria, because you know your point was a bit mixed. What were you trying to say? Would you please remind me something about it?
Yeah, in the context of Nigeria, you know, I was using Niger as a reference to Nigeria, that they are foreign powers behind every move that the Africans are trying to make.
Yeah.
Every move we are trying to make against the institution that the Western powers had instituted in our countries. So anytime you want to make move against it, there must be these powers trying to stop you by all means. So you are trying to, you know, to pinpoint this fact that we must go back to our roots, that we should understand what the country system means.
Yeah.
Whereby every nation, when I mean nation, I'm talking about tribe. Every tribe is a country in Africa. And I believe that should stop it. But my own take and my question to you right now is, how do we get to that route? That is just the context. Well, how do we get to that route?
Mr. Okocha, this trend of the foreign powers, of foreign forces acting in the dark behind, you know, in our countries, I'm talking about this trend of those forces is the presidency. The presidency has this intelligence in the country. You know, they can know, you know, within a short pace of time that, you know, such a citizen is planning something like this, you know, against the presidency, and then they can come and arrest him. But the very same state intelligence is unable to identify foreign mercenaries in the country trying to bring about troubles. How is that possible? It's a joke. Is the presidency acting like, okay, see this and speak out, but pretend not to have seen that and don't speak about it? So that force that is in the background, you just say here, is having this momentum because of the presidency. That is simple. So for us to get through, to weaken that, we have to close the presidencies. And how can we close the presidencies?
How do we close it? Exactly.
We cannot do that by means of referendums. That's impossible, because the presidency is part of the dream of which we are not a dreamer. But a dream can be forgotten as well. The way to forget a dream, if we try to ignore it, but it's still persistent, that is like by means of referendums or election whatsoever, you know, that dream is still persisting and even pressing hard on us, then why not to use the military way, you know? We need a sudden change in our countries. That is
the military way. The military way, as I told you, the military way is more difficult than referendum, because as you are speaking now, I cannot speak the way you are speaking. I cannot talk the way you are talking, because in my country, you dare mention coup, before you know, they will get you arrested. That is the problem.
Well, I have to speak that. I have to speak that because I'm trying to use my freedom of speech. That's it. I'm trying to provide solutions to the crisis we have in Africa. So whatsoever that will come out of my mouth, it's factual. That is the fact right there. So when I'm saying this, I am not going to be the one, but I'm sending a message to someone, particularly you and me, we don't know, that will grab that message and who has that calling from the universe, and before you know it, something will happen. That's it.
That is because you are living in a country where rule of law is little bit respected. Last week, a lawyer on CNN called Nigeria a lawless country. And she was bold to say a lawless country like Nigeria. So when I am telling you that there are even freedom of speech, there are some things
I'm sorry.
It's an insult, but that is the reality.
Yeah.
In a country where the whole world monitor the presidential election petition tribunal, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not win the election, you could see how the judges were manipulating the case. They make sure that Tinubu emerged as the president.
We don't elect those guys, we don't elect them.
So Tinubu forfeited $450,000 in 1993 to the United States government as a proceeding from narcotic trafficking.
That's the criminal record I always talk about,
Yeah, so that was the evidence. That was the evidence his opponent from the People's Democratic Party presented before the court, that this man is supposed not to even contest, and this man must be disqualified. But the court threw it away. So when the world is saying that Nigeria is a lawless country, they knew what they were saying, even though it's an insult.
Yeah.
So that is to tell you to the extent why I'm still stressing. What are we going to do? Because anything you want to do, Nigeria doesn't have a good judicial system that can just help you.
African countries don't have that. They don't have.
Okay.
And it was done on purpose,
It's so unfortunate anyway. It's unfortunate. So I want you to leave us with your last words or sentence or statements regarding this solution, because everyone is writing me about the brokers are doing the interviews, your ideas, your words. But one thing they are asking me is, what are we going to do?
Well, Mr. Okocha, this is so concerning, as you just put it right now in front of me. We believe that we live in a society that's regulated by the state law, and we try to assume that the state is there for us, and we are given the human right and the freedom of speech in our countries, as it's written in the Constitution. But when it comes on the ground, it's not the case. When we try to speak out, before you know it, we have the justice pressure on us, and we are charged of all kind of crimes that is not new. When we look at those government officials, they've been doing that long ago, worse than what we are doing, like just speaking for ourselves. Now, we try to be law-abiding citizens, but we are not treated as citizens. And that led me to understand that it is simply because the country as such, the country of our citizenship, does not exist. So if that country does not exist, then we are in a context of war. We are in a struggle. Let's put it that way. We tried to be pacific. We tried to be peaceful, but they are pushing us. Look at the case of Brother Nnamdi Kanu. It didn't come in the name of war, in the name of trouble or of killing, whatever, but just in the name of dignity. Trying to talk about secession. That is the dignity of his land of origin. But here he is, ended up in prison, and he's not the first one, and he won't be the last one as well in that situation. So if we have to win in this situation, after trying all the legal route, which is acceptable by the law, only to see that it's not serving them, it's not favoring the government, and being treated somehow, then they will be saying like, some of them will be saying like, oh, we must pray to God. But my prayer to God is to bring to us, to bring forth that hero who's in the military. That's the way. We don't know who he is, but there should be a way that someone will just come up from nowhere and then wake up. There's a sudden change. Only through a sudden change that we can impose the laws that are contrary to the dream of which we are not a dreamer. But following the referendum ways, no. That will be no way to lead us to success, to be honest.
I am interpreting what you are saying with few words.
Yeah.
Any slave who does not rebel does not deserve pity.
That's the point I'm trying to say there. Just because I don't want to bring the word slave out, but we've been slave of the systems long ago.
Yeah.
So that's it. Slavery has not
Wow.
ended, as they put it that way. They just changed the strategy. Back then, they were capturing our forefathers and taking them to Europe, with chains around their necks, whatsoever. But today, how is the capture happening? How are they taking us out? They just made it difficult in our
In
society.
diverse ways. In diverse ways.
We have these invisible chains around our necks, and ourselves, we are giving ourselves in the hands of the same people, in Europe or wherever, and then we end up undocumented. This is just part of slavery as well. Working in human conditions, living in human conditions. So it's no difference from what our forefathers faced during the slavery, the slave trades. That's to put it clear. So we are still slaves of the system. So there shouldn't be fear of us fighting back. Let there be, this kind of uprising from the military. If they don't give us the chance to speak freely in terms of referendums and whatsoever legal route that is given to us but denied to us in terms of practice and ground reality. Let there be a hero to come out from the military, honestly speaking.
We hope to see so.
Yeah.
We hope to see Ibrahim Traore in Nigeria.
There should be Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta in the whole Africa, where black people are, but are not benefiting from the fruit of their lands. We need all that. But when such will arise, they shouldn't talk about democracy to us. We don't need that. We need Afro-democracy. Otherwise, they will just be, trying to make us face history repeating itself. And we don't need that, actually.
Sorry to just digress a little. You see, in Nigeria, monarchy is more superior, more important than democracy. Now, this is the reason why I'm saying this. As a king, if your subordinates are suffering, it will speak on your own value as a king, because every king wants their subordinates to do well. But a politician wants you to suffer. A politician wants you to be weak so that he will exercise power over you and control you. That is just the difference.
That is Western values. That is Western value imposed on us. We have to put it that way. We need to be leaders, not politicians. We don't need to be politicians. No. Politicians is a simple reference to thievery, to crime, to treachery, to all those kind of things. We don't need that. We need to be leaders in terms of our traditions and not politicians, honestly speaking.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Gael Clavis Johnson. Next month is the birthday of my wife, and I'm going to do something special. I'm going to give 5 or 10 of my followers your book. So that will be my birthday celebration
this
gift
is a
to
surprise,
them.
I didn't expect this.
Because we can't actually, I believe if it is going to be possible, every African supposed to read that book. We're supposed to read that book and understand what it means to have a nation of your own, because this one we have from every angle. There is a reality that we are facing now, that this is not our country. That is just it.
Well,
so thank you so much, Mr. Clavis.